We have been joined by Danish Ghazi, Middle East affairs expert, speaking to us from Dubai to share his views on the Makkah Defense Agreement between Pakistan, Saudi Arabia and Turkey. First and foremost, Mr. Danish, thank you so much for speaking to Pakistan TV. Now, diving right in, again, this is a huge and very significant deal that has taken place between the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, Turkey and Pakistan. It kind of goes to show the relationship that these three countries have. Can you shed some light on the relationship that these three countries have and why this Makkah Declaration is so important?
So thank you so much for taking me on the call, and it's a great occasion that such an achievement has happened in the recent government's tenure, and it's a reflection of how serious the matters are right now in the region, where new alliances are being forged to make sure that the regional security is in the hands of the people who take it seriously. I think this is the first step in the right direction, and it's a meeting of minds where three superpowers have stood down together and found a way to work together when each of the three parties are bringing the strengths to the table. So I think it's a great achievement on its own, and I must appreciate the Pakistan's foreign policy and the Pakistan's government and especially the Field Marshal Mr. Asim Munir, that how they have, along with Mr. Shehbaz Sharif, how they've brought Pakistan to the front stage of the world. And this is a continuing uh, success of that policy. I would say that this alliance should be further developed, and more countries should join that with the common goals, like rightly mentioned by Mr. Isaaq Dar. And eventually, I would say that this is very important in the wake of the recent security developments in the region, where I think the policy of how the defense or the offense of the region should be in the hands of the people who are directly affected by the issues or by the different political, geopolitical scenarios which are developing in the region.
Right.
Lastly, I think on this statement, yeah, please go ahead.
Apologies for the interruption. Mr. Danish, we've also had statements from the Turkish Foreign Minister, Mr. Hakan Fidan. He basically told Anadolu News Agency that the alliance is expected to expand and Egypt was a potential candidate to join. So that being said, as more countries are showing interest to join this alliance, how is this going to be looking for the region itself? Are we going to be, again, this has allowed communication in a way. It's not just stability, security and prosperity, but it's also communication that's going to be effectively done so, and it's going to create more of a harmony. What would your comments be on that?
I think the biggest responsibility after the announcement of this declaration is that a strong diplomatic effort should follow this, and all the countries in the GCC who are should be taken into confidence why this particular alliance or declaration is meant to create harmony and unity in the region. It is very important. It's incumbent on all the three leaders that how they can go and make sure that every country in the region is participative of this process, to so that there is no negative impact on the process. And there are, of course, there will be people who will be trying to create negativity, should be harnessed upfront. I don't think that any room should be given to the detractors or the people who are against this declaration of great effort should be given any opportunity on the diplomatic front to exploit this situation with those people who are still not part of the declaration or have not been engaged. So the statement is very well said by the Foreign Minister of Turkey, that this is very critical that all the countries become participative. And lastly, what I would say that I'm very excited to know this because this should have happened a long time ago. Well, this region has brought its own strategic importance. It controls oil. It controls one of the largest Muslim population in the world, and Turkey, Saudi, Pakistan, and the Middle East has a wider role to play in the region, which has been seen greatly that how the global economies have been affected and the global it has created a global impact on the world geopolitical situation. So I think it's the next step which is more important. How is this going to follow up? The first step, the easiest step, I think, in my opinion, is done. Now, how this declaration is convinced and sold to the other partners, probable, prospective, immediate, that will be very, very important to be seen how it's being done.
Absolutely. I think you're absolutely right about this. It's also very important to actually take the first step, and Pakistan, Turkey, and Saudi Arabia not just took the initiative, but also made it into an actuality. Now, I want to refer back to the clarification to the international world that the Deputy Prime Minister had to offer. He basically clarified that the Makkah Accord does not abrogate or replace any existing bilateral or multilateral agreements between these countries or with other countries or organizations. If you can, could you shed some more light on this?
I think logically so, because there is a lot of apprehension, especially as I would say that there are countries, especially across the border, who are trying to play around it, right? And every country has its own regional and bilateral trade uh, decisions, right? They have their own arrangements going on. I think what the Deputy Prime Minister is trying to basically give the message that this doesn't mean that all of those other agreements will get affected. What I think is happening is it's a message to the world, especially to those people who are trying to create disharmony in the region, that now the region is waking up to the reality. Earlier, what used to happen is that outside players will come and create mischief in the region or will create issues in the region where, if you see, unfortunately, the region is under turmoil for the last 25, 30 years. So I think the message is very strong that now we are cognizant of the fact, now we are aware of the fact, and we have the muscle to handle that as well. So if you have nothing, if you are not going to be creating that mischief in the region, you should not be worried. Now, yes, I know that a lot of people are playing on the strategic positioning of Pakistan, Saudi, and Turkey. But at the same time, it gives a good message to the world that the depth of this alliance or depth of this declaration is that wide. It's going across thousands of miles of territory and covering a lot of big, significant Muslim population in the world. So I think the best thing is that, like I said earlier, is to alleviate any of any stakeholders where any detractors and the two eyes, I must say, will try to take benefit of the situation. And when I say two eyes, let me say it could be Israel and India. And I think we should take it head on and try to alleviate any concerns they will try to do with anyone who's still not part of this, and try to make sure that we should try to make sure that everyone becomes part of it, so that it becomes a stronger component and seen as a symbol of unity instead of a symbol of division.
Absolutely, no. Very well put and very well communicated. Thank you so much, Danish Kazi, Middle East expert, speaking to us from Dubai, sharing his views on the Makkah Defense Agreement between Pakistan, Saudi Arabia, and Turkey. Pleasure to have you on.